Okay everybody, welcome back. So we're going to do a two-part today with the videos as well. So the first part, I'm going to show you how I teach Orion to drop something or to let go. And the second part, I'm going to introduce my Malamute Nanook, and I'm going to give you tips on dominant dogs, Nanook also being a dominant dog. Now, why it's also very important to teach Orion as part of a routine to drop something or to let go. And since once we start with the attack training, he needs to listen when he has to let go while attacking. So it's a very important part of the routine. But it's also important for all dogs, for when they bite or grab or get something they shouldn't. And having it as part of the routine, it gets imprinted better. So it will help to avoid shouting at them or running after them, as we all have done if it's not imprinted in them. And also remember not to use the word no for everything. They need to know exactly what you mean when you give a command to drop something, because it's no point your dog grabs on something and you just go screaming no, and you're actually just confusing your dog. So it's a very good thing to get it part of a routine, so it can get imprinted. So when you tell your dog to drop it or let go, then they know exactly what to do and they just do it immediately. Okay, so also remember, one of the reasons why I'm also doing these videos is to show you can train your dog at home, and knowing you don't always have the time. Now, I also don't always have the time. I also just in this past week managed to practice Orion's routine twice. So I understand you don't always have that time to do it, but try to do it once or twice a week whenever you can. That's enough. You can do it every day, 5 minutes, that's even better. Also remember, if you have a high energy dog, before you start your routine, let them run and play first. It's what I call the craziness. Try to get rid of the craziness first. And if you work with treats like I do with Orion, don't do the routine after you give them a meal when their stomach is very full, because then they're just going to be lazy, and they are not going to really be interested in the treats. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I'm teaching Orion how to drop it, and how I'm going to put that a part of the routine, and how you can show your dog. Even though you think your dog knows, it's still good to put it part of the routine, because one day is going to be one day, your dog's going to get something, and it's going to be really important for your dog to drop it, and it's just not going to listen to you and run away, and just to avoid that. Okay, so how we do drop it is you find something that they like. Okay, you usually like sticks, but I brought a ball. And then you find a nice treat. Now luckily, he's not very picky, so a piece of dry bread is enough for him. But if you've got a picky dog, maybe get nice doggy treats, or just put some peanut butter on, or just get something that he likes. You can see he's already excited about this. Okay, so first I'm just going to hide the bread and get him to want to get the ball. Where's the ball? 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 Get the ball. Get the ball. Oh no, he's already seen the bread. Get the ball. Get the ball. Get the ball. What's that? Get the ball. Get it. Get it. Drop it. Okay. I don't know if you saw that now. But pretty much what you do is, once he's got something, he's very interested in this bread right now. Once he's got something, you let him smell the food and then say drop it, because he will immediately want to drop what he's got anyway. So that's how you start to imprint. When you say drop it, he's going to get something better. Okay. So let's try that again. Look at that. 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 Let's try a stick, because he does tend to like sticks. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Drop it. There we go. Okay, so it's just a little bit of a sleight of hand, if you may. Get it again? It's okay. Where's the stick? 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 What's it? What's it? What's it? No, no, no. What's that? No, 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 get the stick. Get the stick. So this is what I mean. It can be frustrating, but just don't give up. Obviously, I have to be a bit more careful not to show him the treat before he gets the stick. But just do it again. Get it, get it, get it. Drop it. Good boy. Okay, so I think you get the concept. So we're going to do just this routine quickly. And then after I do the routine, I'll introduce Nanook and we talk a bit about the dominancy. But just for practice, we're going to do the routine quickly. I must say that 2 times I did practice with him, he did very well. Come around. Boy, sit. Oh, oh, good boy. Come around. Sit. Good boy. Now you see, I try, once I start with the routines, I try not to give it every single time. It's just to practice. Okay, Orion, sit. Down. Down. Good boy. Sit. Okay, come. Sit. Lie. Good boy. Okay, now my front's not that big, but I can manage to go quite a few meters with him staying until he gets restless, and I'm pushing it every single time I do it. Lie. Okay, so I'm just going to sidetrack him a bit and just stand here and talk to you to see how he reacts. And if he stays as being a good boy, we just go back. Good boy. See, now we only practice this twice this week. Come on. Good boy. Sit. And there we go. Okay, so remember with the drop it, get something that he likes, play with him. He's not interested in this now. And then just sleight of hand, let him smell the food, he'll drop what he's got in his mouth, but make sure you say drop it so he's got that association. Okay, and then just put that part of the routine every single time. Okay, so I'm going to go fetch my my Malamute, Nanook, and then we're going to talk a bit about dominancy. Okay, so this is my Nanook. Nanook, wait. Come on, Nanookie. Hello, Nookie. Sit. Good boy. Now, Nanook is now 5 years old, and he is a dominant breed dog. Even though he has a heart of a golden puppy, it's still in him to try to be dominant. Now, just a few of your dominant bred dogs is your Chow Chow, your Bird Bull, Rottweiler, Doberman, Jack Russell, your Pit Bulls, Huskies, Alsatians. That's just a few to name that tends to be your more dominant dogs. Or maybe you just have a dog that's a mixed breed, or any different dog that tends to be a bit more dominant. Now, first of all, what you need to do is you need to get your dog fixed. Your dog do not need the extra testosterone, especially if it's a male. And the world does have enough unwanted puppies that can't find home. So please get them fixed. Even if it's a female, it does also help with the dominancy. Now, a dominant dog takes on the alpha role in your pack if they feel you do not play that role. He wants to chase a chicken. Come, Nana. Now, how do I show my dog? Nana, here's the chicken. Nana, you can see he's not interested now because he wants to chase a chicken. Okay, I'm just going to go put him away quickly. Okay, so I just had to put Nanook away. Like you see, I don't even have 100% control over him at this point. Reason being is he's a hunter. He's absolutely a hunting dog. So we do not usually let him in the front. So the moment he sees a chicken or a bird, his hunting instincts kick in. Now, in that case, I must say my husband is complete alpha. So if my husband was involved, he would not try that. But that's what I mean by, you can see, like, even though he's a soft-natured dog and he usually listens, if something kicks in, it is difficult to maintain them. And Nanook also has hip dysplasia. So we do not do the average routines with him because he struggles. We don't want him to struggle or put extra strain on his hips. But other than that, he's a very happy boy. But yeah, let's go back to dominant dogs. As you saw, Nanook being dominant. So how do I show my dog I'm the alpha, or your husband, or whoever's in charge of the dog? Now, small little things that you can start doing. Now, preferably you do start when they're puppies. Always try to imprint all of this when they are puppies, and then it will get easier. If you start when they're already adults, it's still a best to start trying. Now, the golden rule is always be first. So it's not an aggressive way. You just need to imprint on the dog. You taking the role, you first. So what do I mean by first? If you walk through a doorway, you walk first. If you let him eat, you make sure he sits and then he eats. If you eat something, make sure you eat, finish it, then he can get something. Always be first. Say if he runs and barks at something and you don't want him to, it's no point shouting at a dominant dog. Walk and stand in front of him, showing you are in charge of the situation. And that's small little things that you can start introducing to your dog. Also, that's something you can do is cage training. Now, cage training sounds very cruel. It's not. And especially with your more dominant dogs, it will help in the future. Now, we didn't have a cage, but when Nanook was a puppy, if he did something he wasn't supposed to, we would put him in the shower, which is the same thing. So in a cage or a shower, give him 10 minutes time out, and that also teaches him you're in control and you will let him out when you say he's allowed to get out. So he knows you are in command. Okay, so that's small little tricks you can do with the dominant dog. For instance, if you allow your dogs in your bed, which we do, my husband builds a big bed so all our dogs can sleep with us. So if they're allowed in the bed, they're only allowed in the bed when you say they're allowed in the bed. It just gives that little bit of structure so they can see who's in charge, because a dominant dog's raised accepting you as their alpha, or if a dominant dog's not raised right, and they don't accept you as the alpha, not being used to other dogs or not being used to other puppies, not having those interactions, they will take in that role and they can become aggressive, defending their territory and their pack because they're taking that role in. Now, this is not your dog's fault, and that's also, I feel, don't put that stigma that they are aggressive dogs. They're not aggressive dogs, they're just dominant, so they want to take in that role, and if they feel that their owner is not the alpha, they will take in that role and they will try to defend, especially if they're not used to and doesn't have enough interactions with other dogs, seeing that they're not going to get hurt. Now, another example is the muzzles. I'm just going to go get the muzzle. Okay, so I'm introducing the muzzle. Now, I'm very lucky, I've never had to use the muzzle, but my husband does make them. And the idea why we make them and why we introduce them is because it is a good way if you have an aggressive dog and you want to put in the time and effort to do the training with your dog, and making more use to other people and other dogs. And the only way to do that is to introduce them. But if you know your dog's going to start biting or start a fight, to avoid any injuries, you introduce the muzzle. Now, this is only used in extreme cases. And also remember, you can't just get a muzzle, put it on the dog and think, no, it's going to work. No. Your dog has to get used to this muzzle, because it can be dramatic for the dog suddenly putting that over his face. So you start slowly introducing the muzzle. First, you just show him the muzzle and have a good connotation. You can give him treats. Next day, start put it slowly on his face, give him another treat. and so forth. Once you can get it on, don't keep it on, quickly take it off, give him a treat. And it's a slow process until your dog is comfortable wearing the muzzle. As I say, this is a very last resort, but it can be a good tool if you're willing to do it right and introduce it right to your dog, for your dog to become a bit more of a social dog. Some dogs are just aggressive with other dogs or just aggressive with people, and if you want to introduce that, as I say, please, this is a last resort, and but we are willing to help if you're interested in something like this. And you also try to get it, make sure it fits properly, because otherwise it can just fall off, or if it's too tight, the dog's also going to freak out and try to get it off. Now you can find this, I just started a Facebook, R&J Dogs. So if you're interested in something like this and want to talk about it, please contact us on Facebook. We can custom make it for you, and I can help you through the process to see if it's done right. This is a very big thing for me, is to help to get aggressive dogs back into that place, in the sense of being happy, not feeling to having to protect and to be aggressive, and to be happy in the sense of interacting with other dogs and other people, so you can actually take your dog out. Because I feel with aggressive dogs, people give up, my dog's aggressive, so I can't take him anywhere. So then it's never going to solve the problem. So rather try to see what you can do at home to introduce this, and then slowly start introducing him to different scenarios. And also even with the muzzle on, once you start introducing another dog, don't force him onto the dog. Be very slow. Your dog still want to go and attack. Again, make sure you maybe two, one of you just stand in between, just is reassuring your dog. But as I say, that's a long process. But for dominant aggressive dogs, last resort, you can try our muzzles out. And as I say, it's a very slow process, but it is worth trying. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed the Drop It with Nanook, Drop It with Ryan, and keep on practicing and put that part of your routine. Like you saw today, not every day is going to be a success. You're going to struggle with teaching, you're going to struggle with a dog. My dominant dog Nanook, even though he's the softest boy on earth, let me down now with wanting to chase chickens, and it happens, and that's why we work on all these routines. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and remember, R&J Dogs on Facebook, go find us. And if you've got questions or want to order any of our gear, and the other videos are also on that site. Okay, till next time.